Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alaska Seminar Series. My name is Valerie Stimmick-Bailey, and I run the travel blog Valerie and Belize, as well as the YouTube channel of the same name, which is what you're watching, probably, or maybe you're listening to the Destination Alaska podcast, the audio-only version of the seminar series this year. This particular episode/video is Unalaska. This is the second year that Katherine is joining me to talk about her amazing home. I'm really excited, but I want to give a little bit of housekeeping and overview of what the seminar series is. So this is something I do every year to try and help people visit Alaska, giving you the most up-to-date information about things to do in different destinations and what you need to know for visiting in 2026 in the case of this video. This was pre-recorded, and I have questions from my community that we're going to answer after Katherine is done talking about Unalaska. So if you have questions, the best way to get them answered is to either put them in the comments if you're watching the YouTube channel, and I will keep an eye on those all year and make sure you get an answer. Or if you are listening to the audio-only version, you will want to head over either to YouTube to comment on the appropriate video or social media. And I'm sure that Katherine will share the Unalaska account so that you can know that one, or you can reach out to me at Valerie Belize and I can get you connected with her and her team. I think that just about covers it on my end. I like to get out of the way as quickly as possible so that we can just hear about all the amazing things across Alaska. And that means without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to you, Katherine. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Valerie. It was so great to meet you in Anchorage in person, finally. What a great show that was the Alaska Travel Industry Association put on. So refreshed and, rejuvenated with networking and a great conference. So the slides that I prepared was of my hometown. I'm a native of the island, so this is where I grew up and raised my 4 kids. But we will start with the land acknowledgement. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the Unalaska Visitors Bureau, and all of our programming is located on the unceded territory of the ancestral homes of the Unalaska peoples that have occupied the islands for over 10,000 years. UVB honors and respects these traditional lands that we educate our visitors on. And the sketch to the left is a sketch from Captain Cook's artist, John Weber, and that was done in 1778. And the original sits in the Museum of the Aleutian here in Unalaska. And this was basic information for all the travelers that want to come see our island. We're on the Aleutian chain. To plan ahead, you would need a plane ticket or to take the Tustamina, the Alaska Marine Highway, or if you're on a cruise ship. Hotel reservations, we have the Grand Aleutian Hotel and some Airbnbs here. We have 2 car rental options, BC and Northport Rentals. We have maps for you and a visitor guide. And if you want to call us or email us, we can give you much more information. And here's the map of Alaska. And it shows Juneau to your right, Anchorage. The arrow goes to Anchorage, but then as you see that red arrow, we're 800 miles from Anchorage. And if you take Aleutian Air, it's the top Saab 2000, and it's 2 hours by flight. If you take a smaller charter, it's around 3 hours. So our mission statement is the Unalaska Port of Dutch Harbor Convention and Visitors Bureau is established to promote and encourage tourism and to support the development and sustainability of tourism infrastructure in the Unalaska Port of Dutch Harbor region. So some fun facts on Unalaska Dutch Harbor. So Unalaska Dutch Harbor are 2 islands connected by a bridge. Dutch Harbor was initially called Dutch Harbor when Captain Cook seen a Dutch vessel anchored in our harbor around 1778. It's been called that ever since. Surprisingly enough, Dutch Harbor Island is actually called Amagnac Island. Unalaska Dutch Harbor has 3 National Historic Landmarks, the World War II Visitor Center, Fort Schwatka, and the Orthodox Cathedral. All beautiful places to visit, by the way. Fort Schwatka was a fort during World War II that still has some World War II remnants around it. The Orthodox Cathedral, you'll learn about it a little bit more, and also the Visitor Center, the World War II Visitor Center in the upcoming slides. So Unalaska Island is known for their indigenous culture, the Unangans. We also have an abundance of seafood. You also can go bird watching watch the sea mammals, and visit our World War II history. There's also outdoor activities that include hiking, fishing, camping, kayaking, beachcombing, view the beautiful flowers all over, the wildflowers, pick berries, and watch the marine life as you walk or drive by the surrounding ocean. For wildlife on the island, we have Arctic fox and Arctic squirrel. We don't have any bears, so it's pretty safe to hike or camp or fish. Fishing is a little fishy when there's eagles around, so you just have to put your salmon in a cooler. Our island has over 150 species of birds, making it an amazing birder's paradise. Bald eagles are all over the island. The rare whiskered auklet, tufted and horn puffins, and Laysan, short-tailed, and black-footed albatross are some of the popular ones that people want to see. And then there's also abundance of fish species, which is over 450 species. Pacific halibut, Pacific cod, salmon, that is sockeye, coho, and king, and rockfish and more. The invertebrates include red king, tanner, and apelio crab. So they just finished king crab, and next month they're going into apelio crab fishing. So we're all about the views. If you have not seen photos or videos of our community, it is spectacular, stunning, breathtaking. It is snowing today, and even when it snows, it is beautiful. So we have a lot of the summer photos for you, but I think you can look online and see some winter photos of our storms. But this is a sunset of Unalaska, and it shows downtown, and you see the little image of the cathedral. You see the cupola right there on the front beach right there. And then the HX cruise line, that is the Roald Amundsen. She comes in a couple times in the summer. The Safari Explorer comes in a couple times this summer. So both, like, we have small cruise ships and big cruise ships. If you look at that photo of the Roald Amundsen, you see all the passengers on the bow and up top looking at our island. So it's pretty neat.
I do want to interrupt, which I don't normally do, because I know there was a real excitement about how much cruise tourism has grown to Unalaska. Do you want to talk about that really briefly?
Yes. We were at the Alaska Travel Industry Association conference in Anchorage that had over, was it 600 or 700 attendees? It was a lot. And the executive director of ATIA announced that Unalaska Dutch Harbor had the biggest growth in tourism for 2024, which was 78.9%. So it really goes back to, in 2008, we only had 5. And the most we had was in 2023, we had 20. This year, we had 17 plus 2 cancellations. We had 5 Tustamina Alaska Marine Highway ferries arrive, and then we had 29 sailboats arrive. We're still trying to capture the independent travelers that fly in. We have not yet got that information yet, but we're working on that. So yes, we're very excited about people who want to experience our small, beautiful island and educate them on our history and our culture. This is such a beautiful photo of our island. It shows you all the mountain ranges and the community that we live in. So this picture is taken from Pyramid Mountain, and then straight ahead is Ballyhoo, Mount Ballyhoo, and that's right below that mountain. To the left of the mountain is the runway. And so if you're flying in, the runway is right there. And then at the bottom of Ballyhoo is where the cruise ships tie up. So it's pretty neat how you can see the layout. And Hog Island is to the left of Mount Ballyhoo. And then you're on the Dutch Harbor side coming in. And then if you see the small bridge, that is our bridge that connects the 2 islands. So to the right of the photo is the Unalaska side of the island. So this shows you a map of our island, and I love this map because on the right hand side, in the middle, it shows you the island as a whole. It's a small little clip, but it also shows you in the upper right hand corner that little square area that's squared is where we occupy the island. So our island is pretty big. But I haven't even explored the whole island. But I've hiked a lot around our island, but I haven't gone to the very end of the island, which would be really neat. So navigating to Unalaska Dutch Harbor, this is how you would find your way here. Um, Aleutian Airways is our only commercial airline that flies in, and they fly in depending on the season. Sometimes we have 4 planes, sometimes we have 2, sometimes we have 1. So it really depends on the season. The Tustamina is the Alaska Marine Highway ferry. You would catch that at Homer, Alaska, and it takes about 3 days for you to get from Homer to Unalaska Dutch Harbor, because it makes about 8 stops on the way. It goes to Kodiak and all the smaller communities on the Aleutian chain, which I highly recommend in the summer because it's so beautiful to see from Homer coming down to the Aleutian chain and how the landscape changes. But you also get to see whales and birds and everything in between. Um, One of the cruise ships, the Seabourn Quest, that was taken in September, and just always, even if it's fall season, it's still beautiful. This is one of the sailboats that arrived. This Apsaris. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but it's from Hong Kong. Beautiful sailboat. We had 29 sailboats in our harbor this summer, so um, we don't get to capture those numbers. We get to speak to them if they come into our office. But 29, we were guessing around over a dozen, but to actually know that there was 29 when we called the ports department, it was like, wow, we missed quite a bit. But pretty exciting. People are coming here in every venue, which is very, very neat. What we are known for is our culture, the Unangan culture, World War II, birding, fisheries, which includes Deadliest Catch. They film Deadliest Catch here. And we also have humpback whales, orcas, sea lions, seals, and northern sea otters. So if you're not a birder, look out in the ocean, and it's amazing what you will see. The juvenile bald eagle in the middle, I captured that. There's a nest really close to the cathedral across the river, but it's pretty close. So you get to watch the eagles sit on the eggs, and then you can watch the babies pop their heads out, and then you get to watch them actually flap their wings and try to fly. So this one just learned how to fly, and he was walking on the ground. He was like, how do I get off this ground? But it was really neat to actually see the process and be able to witness that it's gonna fly soon. So we also have a volcano, beautiful mountains, waterfalls, and just much more for the adventure. The volcano across the bay peaks at 6,680 feet. It last erupted in 1995, and we continue to have earthquakes and tsunami warnings. So around October 15th, before I was leaving to the conference, we had a 5.0 earthquake. So it wasn't a big one, but we're kind of used to it. If we have a bigger one, we have a tsunami warning, and we just go to high ground. But we have beautiful waterfalls to the right. That photo in the upper right corner is Needle Point, and then past that is Priest Rock. So the fishing fleet, they know they're almost in the harbor when they see Priest Rock. So Priest Rock is a kind of a landmark for them. This summer we have blueberries and salmonberries that are abundant. So we make jams, we harvest, we freeze. It's amazing. The bottom right is the road up to Fort Schwatka, one of our National Historic Landmarks. That's one of my favorite in-town hikes. It takes me a half an hour from the bottom of the road to the top, and then you can go, once you get to the top, it winds off, and there's just bunkers, Quonset huts, and just old remnants of old buildings that were there during World War II. So this is one of the venues that we take you if you're here on a cruise ship, the Russian Orthodox Cathedral. It is a National Historic Landmark. It was built in 1896. It is the oldest cruciform cathedral in North America. The recently renovated Bishop's House adjacent to the cathedral was built in San Francisco, California. It was dismantled, shipped, and reassembled in Unalaska. Over 700 icons and relics reside in the cathedral. It was also used as a seminary and school at one point. So the beauty, you see that red photo in the middle, that is the main cathedral of the Orthodox Cathedral. And then there's two other smaller ones, one to the left and one to the right. So when you look down on it, it is a cruciform style. So, and then you see the renovated Bishop's House, the old Bishop's House, and the newly renovated last year. The Russian Orthodox Sacred Sites in Alaska put in over $1 million and renovated that. So it's beautiful. The bottom photo shows the original mahogany staircase that was put in 1882. So very well done in renovating. This is another venue we take you to if you're on a cruise ship, or if you just want to come in. If you're an independent traveler, we do tours also. Museum of the Aleutians, and they have an Unalaska room that has so much artifacts that they find here. Really amazing museum. They're building onto it, so they're actually going to be renovating in the next year or two because they're growing so much. But right now it has amazing artifacts. It opened in 1999. It is a state-of-the-art cultural museum whose mission is to collect, preserve, and share the rich legacy of the Aleutian Island region. Every summer, MODA has the archaeological dig, which they find amazing artifacts that are preserved. So I was lucky enough to be able to volunteer a couple times for that. Looking forward to this next summer. And the World War II Visitor Center. And this is the third venue that we take you to. It was built in 1943 by the Navy. This is the original aerology building. The second floor has the same setup as during the war with historic information. During the peak of the war, the military personnel stationed there was nearly 20,000 troops. So amazing artifacts. People come here every season on a cruise ship or independent travelers, and they say, my great-grandfather or my grandfather was here during World War II. I had to come here. And they usually ask for a specific spot, like, where was this or where was it? So, where was Fort Mears? It's right down the street where the Grand Aleutian is. Where is Fort Schwatka? It's right over here. So it's pretty neat. And then somebody this summer brought some photos and some other memorabilia, and they said, where can we take this? I was like, take it to the World War II Visitor Center. So it's pretty neat how much the collection is growing for the World War II Visitor Center. And it's beautifully renovated. There's a small theater in there that shows the relocation of the Unangans during World War II. You can also find that video online if you're interested. But the World War II Visitor Center itself is the bottom floor, has cases of information during World War II, and then upstairs has reader boards and the radio setup. So as you know, we are the #1 fishing port in the nation. Deadliest Catch is filmed here, and we have 3 major processing plants, Unisea, Westward, and Alyeska. And these plants process over 600 million pounds of seafood a year. And then during the busy fishing season, actually all year round, the Coast Guard is very present. Their presence is here quite a bit. They patrol the border between Russia, make sure the Aleutian Chains is safe in our area. So the Coast Guard cutter up top, and then their C-130 is down below there. Our cruise ships, Seabourn Quest to your left, and up top is Bunker Hill. It is also known as Hill 400. You can see the bunker at the peak there, and you can see some of the visitors from a cruise ship hiking up there. So it's a rocky trail, but it's a beautiful 360 view of our community. So UVB's cruise ship arrivals have increased significantly in 2008, of 5 cruise ships to 17 cruise ships in 2025. For 2026, we have 17 cruise ships scheduled already. We also have sailboats and yacht arrivals every year, along with independent travelers from all over the world. The total number of visitors equates to over 14,000 guests in a 6-month period. So these are some beautiful photos of our community. But this, the top left, is the bay on the front beach. So if we just took them to the cathedral, and you walk down that little path, and you see this beautiful bay, and there's a reef out there that have birds, and I think there were sea otters out there that day. We have beautiful wildflowers. There's an iris. We have wild orchids, and you name it, fireweed, lupin. It's beautiful in the summer. Just beautiful array of colors. And then on the bottom left is the whiskered auklet. That's a rare bird that a lot of birders want to see. And then the ptarmigan. The ptarmigan is shown as it's fledging into its winter coat. In the winter, so they're all probably white right now. Summer, they're kind of this brownish gray color. And then the Arctic fox is up top in the middle right there. The Roald Amundsen is in the middle with our 2 vans. UVB provides transportation, and we take you to venues. We tell you facts about our community and just show you around our beautiful island. If you'd like a visitor guide sent to you, or you can look at it on our website, unalaska.org. And if you want to email, info@unalaska.org. Unalaska Visitors Bureau is a 501c6. We are a nonprofit, and it's paid for in part by the citizens of Unalaska. We have a city grant that funds us. I would say 48%, 49% of our grant is from the city of Unalaska. So that is how we keep our doors open, produce those visitor guides, and have staff for cruise ships that arrive. So kagasakung for listening. If you have any questions, I or Travana are in the office, and our phone number is 907-581-2612. Unalaska.org is our website, and you can email us again at info@unalaska.org.
Amazing. Thank you. I'm gonna make us a little bit bigger so we can chat, and I'm going to put our names back on so everyone can be reminded. They know my name because I'm always chatting at them. Thank you. That is amazing. So what's really interesting, I think, between last year and this year, because this is your second year that we've done this video together, is that over the last summer, I made a trip up to some of the really remote communities in the subarctic and the Arctic, like Nome and Kotzebue and Utqiagvik. And it gives me such a perspective, even though it's a different cultural basis, it's a different historical basis, it's an entirely different region of a very, very large state, of how really remote and isolated and unique it is to visit these communities. And I'm so excited that you do get cruise ships that come into town, because I think the people who are booking those are getting a really special treat and a special view of Alaska that even most Alaskans never have. Very cool.
It is such, it's very rewarding, because they come here and they're just like, it's an island. What can it be here? And then when they leave, they're like, oh my gosh, this is a gem. This place is amazing. And they leave educated. Uh,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know we were bombed during World War II. A lot of people don't know we have an indigenous culture. The fisheries we're the number one port in the nation. So
Hmm.
there's so many beautiful facts about our community. And when they leave, they're like, oh, I'm going to tell my friend, or
Yeah.
I'm going to post my pictures, or yeah. So
Yeah.
it's amazing.
And I think people might think, especially if you're visiting via cruise ship, I know there are some independent travelers who tends to be in my orbit more than people on cruise ships. Um, Cruise people might think like, oh, I'm going through Southeast Alaska. That's island communities. It's
Right.
it's going to be the same. It's completely different. I mean, I haven't been, and I can tell just from what you share with us. I did want to share, in case people noticed, occasionally there might have been little things that popped up in the upper corner of the video. Um, After last year's video, I was so keen to start promoting Unalaska, but I haven't been personally. And so that's usually the barrier to me doing a lot of content. But one thing I did do is I wrote an article about where you can see all the deadliest catch ships make birth. And at the end, I don't know if you've seen this, Katherine, so I'll send it to you. At
Okay.
the end, I say, look, if you want to see these ships, you got to go to Unalaska. You got to go to Dutch Harbor because all of them pass through at some point during the season. So you could go to Seattle or Homer, and those are wonderful places too. But if you're a Deadliest Catch fan and you're watching this video, it's Unalaska. That's where you need to plan
Yes.
your trip to see them. And you
Yes.
got to go in the winter, which is its own adventure.
October 15th is opening of King Crab, so
Okay.
a lot of the boats get ready beginning of October, and then they leave around the
Got it.
15th. Yeah,
Got it. Okay. So you could sneak in
yeah,
potentially before the snow flies.
yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, we just got snow today, so it's November 21st.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
Wow.
we're a little bit warmer. A lot of people don't
Mhm.
understand that too. Like you saw on the map, we're southwest,
Yeah.
whereas Anchorage. When I landed in Anchorage last Saturday, there was snow, and
Yep.
it was like 9 degrees. So
Yep, it snowed right after I
yeah,
saw you. When
yeah,
I left on a Saturday and it snowed on a Sunday and I was like, perfect time to go back to the lower 48. Not that I don't love snow, but I did my 15 winters and I'm not sure if we move back up at some point, I'll have to prepare myself for the
right.
winters up there.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, well, let's do some Q&A. I feel like you and I could just chat. I mean, we
Yeah,
did. We hung out in
absolutely.
person and it
Yeah,
was wonderful. So these are questions from people in my community. People ask questions and I make sure to get them added. Again, if you have your own questions, just put them in the comments. I'll make sure that Katherine or Trevana see those so that we can get you answers if you're planning a trip. This is, I think, a great question because I think a lot of times people wonder how long, it's basically like, how long do you need to stay in these more remote communities?
mhm,
And one thing I will say is, having researched this myself, it is quite expensive to get to Unalaska. So
yes.
I won't let you answer this if it's possible to do an overnight. And then even if it's possible, does it make sense? But if you're going to spend as much as it takes to get to Unalaska, I wouldn't just do an overnight. So that's my take on it. But what do you think?
I agree. The cruise ships, I think we had 2 cruise ships this summer that stayed overnight. So the passengers got to, go experience restaurant and our island in the evening, which is really neat because,
Yeah.
if you have a clear night, stars are out. It's just, you can actually walk until like midnight because it stays light to like 2 in the morning. So
Cool.
anyway, there's that. But there's the Tustamina. One way for a person from Homer to Dutch Harbor is over $400, and that's just like your main seating area. If you want a cabin, I think it's like $400 more. But you can also bring. I've seen people bring their tents so they could put it in the solarium where it's nice and warm and covered. But that's a 3-day journey from Homer to Dutch Harbor, but they only stay in Dutch Harbor for 8 hours. And typically a cruise ship stays here for 8 hours. We get
Okay.
them around the venues. They get to go shopping, walking around, and adventure out. If you're taking a plane, I would definitely make it a couple days because it's $700, $800 one way.
Okay.
So if you're going to spend that money, I would definitely stay. We have Airbnbs and a hotel that you can stay at, and all of those businesses are in our visitor guide. at the end of our guide, we have our businesses listed. So you can check that out. But summertime to me is the most beautiful. The wildflowers are out. The humpback whales, you can see from driving. Um, there's sea otters all over, eagles all over. So it's really what you're interested in. And if you want to stay longer, we would love it.
Yeah, yeah, that's great advice. Okay, so this is a question about the ferry, so that's good. I know you don't have the exact answer because this is a question people ask all winter long. But when is this ferry schedule typically released, and how far in advance would someone need to book if they want to do the ferry?
If you're going to book, if you want a cabin, you have to book right away.
Okay.
And it varies when the schedule comes out, but I want to say February, March. But if you want to call us or email us, we'll put you on a list and let you know as soon as we know the schedule is out.
That's super helpful because a lot of locals also take the ferry sometimes,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think we talked about that last year. Thought that was really interesting. I mean, I think of that too in communities in Southeast as well, but they tend to have a little bit bigger ships, more frequent service than visiting.
Yeah, and they have all the amenities.
Yeah.
They have public bathrooms on board in a couple different areas. They have seating. They have a restaurant that serves very good food at a reasonable price. A lot of people sometimes bring a little cooler with their own food if they're, allergic to certain things. But the staff is friendly, professional, and it's a clean ferry, which is really nice.
Yeah, cool. Okay, we've got one more logistics question. And this I think is just helpful in general. I should ask this about everybody because I think we do get lots of questions across Alaska regarding cell service and Wi-Fi access. So what's it like for you?
So we have AT&T and GCI.
Okay.
So it's very limited, although there's an option. Optimera is a local service here, and they sell Wi-Fi cards if you want to connect to internet, or I think they actually have it for free for tourists. So if you go to their business, Bering Sea Office Supply, and just say I'm a tourist, they'll give you a password and you can connect that way. So there are some options, but if you have Verizon or anything outside of GCI and AT&T, sometimes it's hard to connect.
Yeah.
I know there was an international cruise ships and they had AT&T, but our AT&T was not connecting for whatever reason. Yeah.
Good to know. Yeah, I think when I was up north, I have T-Mobile. So if you're a T-Mobile user, this might be of help. When I'm in the Anchorage area and like South Central and Interior, I've noticed my phone is typically on GCI, but it was not doing that in more remote communities. It did not seem to have, I don't know, whatever agreements they have or whatever. I don't know how that works. Yeah. So just be aware that if you are not on AT&T, you may have no cell service. And speaking from experience as a visitor who turned up in Nome and went, preload the map on your phone, put a couple phone numbers into your phone so you're not trying to look anything up on the internet. You can sort of mitigate the fact you might not have service, but we're so used to being connected. It's a good reminder to double check. So thank you for that information. Okay. Well, I think that's all I have for today. If you are watching and you have other questions, we would love to hear them. Please just put them in the comments. If you're listening, reach out on social media. I'm at Valerie Valise. Katherine, are you at Unalaska CVB?
It's unalaska.org.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, just like me. So people can reach out with questions there. And I think that covers it. So I will just say again, Katherine, thanks for joining me this year to talk all about Unalaska. Hopefully next year I will have visited and then we'll be just having so much fun talking about it.
That would be wonderful. I would love to host you. So let me know when you'll be here.
I will.
And thank you so much again for having us. This is our second time. So
it's my pleasure. Have a good one.
Okay, you too.